Okay. How are you guys? It's nice to finally officially meet you.
Yes, it's Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, you're a young man. We were there too once. Um,
Once upon a time.
but my God, does the time fly?
Trust me, I feel it too.
You do? And
Yeah.
where are you?
Well,
Where are
it's nice
you?
to officially meet you, Leann. I haven't talked to you at all. But thank you,
Oh,
Teo, for setting it up for us.
yes. Thank you, Tao, for
Yes,
putting it
I do
together.
nice things sometimes. Where are you?
I'm in Georgia.
Oh, you're in
I
Georgia.
could tell
Yeah,
a
a
little
long
bit
ways
by the
away.
accent.
Yeah.
So tell me
Long ways
about the
away from you guys.
so tell me about the guys that you've met so far. You met um, Stacy, right?
Yeah, Stacy and Peter Porte or Port, is it Porte? I believe.
Port, Porte, yes, Peter Porte.
And then Miranda Wilson, Cheryl Wilson, we did one together. And then Richard Wharton and Maggie Carney, we did one together.
And how were they?
They were excellent. They were great. We had so much fun. We did some quiz games. It was very fun.
Good.
That's good. That's
Good.
good.
And I also met your neighbor, Rebecca Staub.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's not a lovely girl.
I was just
Yeah,
looking for
she's
her out in the
fabulous.
street, see if
Oh,
she
really?
was here, but she wasn't in the street when I
Did
drove up.
did you do Will DeVry?
I haven't met him yet, no, sadly.
Oh, oh,
In the
you want me
future,
to
yeah.
arrange that?
Because the one with Rebecca was about her role in Superman. So
Oh, I see.
yeah,
Yes. Well, he did 8 years on General Hospital. Um,
yeah.
but if you ever want to interview him, I could talk to him.
Oh,
My
excellent. I
neighbor.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
because I would love to do more with the soap world.
yes. How about Ryan Gosling? Did you read
Oh,
about
yes, that is very,
him
very cool.
with Deidre?
It's kind of brought us into, the soap world, into the mainstream of things for a minute. It's
Yes.
kind of fun
I
to
hope it
hear.
continues to work because we need the soap opera world back into the mainstream.
Yes, I wish the stations would do more because Leann and I were talking about it. They used to do so much publicity on our shows, and finally, it's like the Emmys. It's all left now to the actor to do it. It's not we
Yeah.
don't have the support we used to have.
Yeah, because I know it was a lot bigger in the 80s and 90s, but even growing up in the 2000s, I remember how big it was with all the magazines and
Mhm.
promos and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Um,
now they've kind of allowed social media to be the
Yeah.
thing that handles everything. And unfortunately, it doesn't give the actor the chance to really interact with each other. Like, this is a nice venue.
Yeah.
Teo and I get to at least be together on it instead of, just posting some random video about what I had for breakfast. I don't really think
Right.
that that's very interesting to anybody.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
But Richard Wharton and Maggie Carney, they play both of your top henchmen, but they were telling me they've never even met each other in real life. That was their first meeting.
Oh, really? That's that's very interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very it's a different world the way they
Yeah.
film it now. I actually was catching a piece of General Hospital the other day, and I was counting how many actors were on screen that day.
I mean,
There were like 12 or 13,
yeah, we had limited to 10.
on our show. So they're only allowed to have 10 of us on the set at any
Oh
given
wow.
time. Everything's about money. So basically, that seems to be the driving force behind what story they have and everything else. So
Yeah.
we
Because I
can't
remember
really.
the days of like the big galas and the parties and stuff. I miss those for sure.
Yes, we do too. You
Yeah.
loved the cheese was on a Ritz cracker. Didn't you love that in the day?
Oh, yes, especially when they used to spray it with disinfectant so the doctors wouldn't eat the food.
He
Yeah.
used to complain about the hors d'oeuvres they would pass around at those parties as we watched them start to atrophy. The
Yeah,
crackers.
so have we started or is
Yeah,
it
it's recording now. I did have some questions prepared. Let's get
okay?
see.
All right. So
I wanted to start off with you, Thaao. So you joined the show in 1981, and you
Yeah,
were kind of, if I recall, the first official DiMera to appear, right? Because I
right.
know Renee didn't have the name yet, so we didn't know for
No,
sure that she was a DiMera. When you
no.
joined at that point, did you have any idea the legacy that would eventually come from being, a DiMera that you were starting?
Well, it's funny because General Hospital, where Pat Falcon Smith brought me over, I started the legacy of the Cassidines, and
Oh,
that
I had no
family
idea.
still,
That is
after
very
all
cool.
these years, that family is very strong in General Hospital. So the DiMeras that I started, and then Joe Moscola came 6 months later,
Yeah.
because we were in the same acting class. And so when they were looking for Stefano, I told them I knew the actor that would be wonderful.
Oh,
But
that's very cool.
that's how it all started. And um, nobody knew that, because nobody really knows your history.
Yeah.
They don't even inquire. It's a business because it's so fast, and because you come in, try to get as much done as possible, and then the next group comes in. So we never really get to know each other, but it was a slower process, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Um, what was interesting was there were still cobwebs on the walls when I arrived. It was the sets and everything. It was like playing forever. And then suddenly, an ethnic comes on the show. Everybody else was Anglo-Saxon. And when I
Yeah.
arrived, a Greek boy, they didn't have anybody with dark hair like me. And so I got a little bit of a confront by some of the guys. The women were great, except Susan Hayes. And I had it out. And but we out of it came a great friendship. But yeah,
Yeah.
she attacked me.
Oh, I never knew that story.
It was a christening. It was a test
Yeah.
whether my balls were dangling or not.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Right.
I never knew that you started both families. That's very cool because I'm not very familiar with General Hospital. Days has kind of always been the one that
Yes,
I've been familiar with due to my family, and that's the one that I came attracted to. So that's very cool. I never knew that.
yeah.
And
So
it,
43 years later, the family's still running,
Hmm.
yeah, it's amazing how far it's came.
Both families, yes.
both families.
Hmm.
Yeah. There was, the Hortons, and we had the Hortons and the DiMeras, and also what was the other family?
The Brady's.
Brady's, sorry.
Yeah,
The Brady's, and we've lost, you know, we
Mm.
we lost a few of
I
our
know. I
actors.
miss when the families had so much more of a, it was all of the Brady's, Hortons. They do seem very disconnected now. I do miss that.
Yeah.
But DiMera's and Brady's and Hortons. And then for you, Leann, and I mean this in the best way possible because I loved Anna then and now, but you're kind of almost a shell of your former character in a way because you came in as in 1981 as well, right?
1982, I think.
Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
and you were Anna Brady, the scheming, evil ex-wife of Roman, and you were working with Stefano and spying
Mhm.
on Tony, tricking him into marrying you. And now,
Yeah.
40 something years later, you're kind of more of a comedic character. You're a bit more of an anti-hero. How has it been like making that journey from Anna Brady to Anna DiMera? They're
Well,
such different characters.
well, I think that I've tried to keep some of the same element
Yeah.
if you gave today's Anna a chance at $1 million,
Yeah,
she would find a way to make that work.
for sure.
No matter, she never has enough and never enough. And that was kind of what Anna was back in the day, was she never had enough. And so she was always when she came in, she was working for Stefano. But I mean, initially she was married to Roman and loved him and had a child with him. And she evolved into greedy. And
Yeah.
I think Anna today is just mellowed, and she can offer advice to people, but if you offered the chance for her to make a buck that
Yeah.
nobody knew about,
Did you remember the
She
show
would
she
grab it.
had? Remember the show where she had DiMera Designs?
Anna DiMera Designs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That was
that
back
a,
in the
that was
80s.
a really good story.
hmm
Yes, because
That was
I
really
actually I
good.
have seen that. It's funny because absolutely do not support, piracy or anything. But y'all know with the soap, it's the older episodes, it's not as easy to acquire.
No, no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But nothing before 1984 is sadly available except for a few episodes here and there. So I haven't gotten to see your starts on the show, sadly. I'm sad about that. But I
Mm.
have seen like from 1984 onwards. So I do remember some of the Anna DiMera designs. I
Uh,
love that story.
and that was where she had Tony, helping her finance it, and she was always scheming with Alex Marshall. I don't know if you remember
Oh, I
Quinn
do.
Whitaker. He was our wonderful friend.
Yeah.
And all of those days, we always say we lived in the glory days of Hollywood and of soap operas.
You
We were
did for sure.
around. We were grateful for those years in the 80s, which brought us all together. And we had all the glorious things to wear. And well, Anna still does.
Yeah.
I have to say, our wardrobe, we have wonderful
Yeah, Richard
wardrobe.
Brewer is
Richard
wonderful.
Brewer is wonderful.
Yeah.
And so he does take care of us. But it was just a treat to go into
Yeah.
work every day and play dress up and play, a princess virtually without a real crown. But, that's what I got
Absolutely.
to play. And I got to play. It was fun. It was fun. And
Yeah.
to this day, I try to bring fun to what Anna is because, we need joy.
We
Everybody
do.
needs joy. We all need to have something to laugh at. And I always feel that right now I'm laughing with Anna and
Yeah.
laughing with the audience herself. So, maybe back in the day, people enjoyed watching her get into trouble and get out of it. And that
Yeah. I
was,
feel like she's a lot more playful villain now than she was back then. She was a
yeah,
little bit more serious. She was still comedic, but I feel like now, anytime you're doing something wrong, it's kind of more in a like when you told Tony about Nicole's baby and things like that. It's not really coming from a place of like evil necessarily.
yeah,
It's just
But
kind of
exactly.
when
more
you've
like,
got different
oops.
writers at different stages of
Yeah.
Mhm.
over 40 years, some have real insight. Others don't do their homework.
Yeah.
And whoever advises them hasn't done their homework either. These were some of the best characters on the show, I think. And,
Absolutely.
and the women that were in their lives. I mean, it was just wonderful playground.
Yes, it's
And that all
playground.
that all changed. I think we're concentrating more on the youth, but then that was always the case. The youth always, until you realize more and more these days that they're not trained like we were when we were young.
Yeah.
We had different schooling. We had different levels in society, and the way we would um, approach somebody or speak to someone. Like when you had someone like Alice Horton and
Yeah.
MacDonald Carey, you know, um, it gave another layer above you.
A respect
You know
layer.
what I mean? So we had all those levels, and that's what
Mhm.
made the show, I feel. It's always great to bring new characters, and they have some interesting characters,
Mhm.
but they've lost, I think, sometimes the magic that was, and that's because of the writing. I think they don't always finish the story that they began with. They will tell a story, and then suddenly, it's like things with Anna. And when I said to her one day, "Oh, we're going to do the fashion for her," and that
Oh,
was like
yeah.
last year,
Yeah,
and that didn't
very excited.
get picked up.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that have been missed, and it's not an easy task to come in and write for that many characters.
No.
But when you can only have 10 characters shown on a script a day, and also because of budget restrictions. So you've got a lot of things you've got to deal with. Then you've got how many sets you can have open. There is so many restrictions for writers and producers that, we actors, we come in with the script that they wrote, and hopefully we can do it and lift it off
work.
the page. So that's the challenge. And now that Ryan Gosling is it Ryan Gosling? Yes,
Mhm.
came into the picture with Deidre. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Suddenly somebody threw like gossamer
Mhm.
onto the screen, and you're going, wait a minute, this is an actor who talks about his how did he get his training, what stimulated him. It wasn't De Niro, it wasn't Pacino, it wasn't Marlon Brando, it was Deidre Hall. And
Yeah.
Yes.
that was an amazing thing, because when you look at that story, because he got it.
He got it.
He got the fact that we
Mhm.
have to do that many pages a day and still give you things to feel respectable about. And when she did the devil story, I remember that because I was in some of those sequences with her. And, it was just, I just thought they did a fantastic job, especially on the budget we had and the
Yeah.
way they activated her. And it's kind
Absolutely.
of nice to have an actress get kind of acknowledged after all these years
Mhm.
of being, a very main focus of the story. And, Deidre is very consistent when it
Yeah.
comes to her work. She's got a spine.
Mhm.
When you look at her, she has an entrance, a persona that is always consistently interesting.
A regalness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
You know.
much.
So
Yeah.
I was very
Mhm.
happy. We were very happy because we were discussing it this morning. That it's a wonderful
Mhm.
piece of news for the show, and to give us some kind of lift, especially these days when people, I don't know if you go to the movies anymore, but
Yeah.
I was telling Leann when I went to the movies recently, there's no rom-coms. It's all horror films and
Yeah.
terrible. And Ryan Gosling said the other day, you want people to come back to the movie theaters, give them good films.
Yes, give them something to have some joy about, something to want
Yeah.
to aspire to, and love is always the best remedy for everything,
I
which
can't
is
lie
why
that I love horror movies, but I definitely miss the rom-coms and
they need
dramas that
something.
we've had.
People need to have
Well,
somebody. As a woman, I always liked to go to the movie theater to be in love with the handsome guy on screen.
Yeah.
That's who I wanted to hook up with, if you will.
well, I tell
Well,
you,
just kiss him, but
I,
whatever.
I said to Leanne, I'm going to go and see Ben-Hur. They're showing Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston, uh, and that is epics. We don't see
Yeah.
anymore, but
See
they were
those.
part of my childhood,
Yeah.
But the other thing that Leanne and I are going to do a play, and we're doing we're raising money for a school, acting class school, at the Hudson Theatre here in Hollywood, and we're going to do love letters together. There's going to be
Oh,
three
very
couples
cool.
doing it. And so we were asked to do it at the end of April. So if people want to come and see us, it's at the Hudson Theatre. It'll be around, and probably around the 30th of April.
In
Very cool.
Hollywood.
I can actually put a link to that in the bio of this video if you would like.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because we all came out of acting classes. I did for many, many years, and I was an assistant to a director, Morton Katselis, and we opened the school, the Beverly Hills Playhouse. So it's very important to go to a place where you feel safe, where you can experiment and feel good, or sometimes bad, depending on how you played that role that night. But it was always great to go, and especially when you have a really tough teacher telling you didn't do very well today, and then you come back the following week, fighting but it added to what we do on days. And I think the
Yeah,
reason why our characters have lasted this long is because of that training.
for
Well, I
sure.
don't do well when somebody tells me I don't do well.
Oh, well,
I never liked a teacher that did that to me. I
Same.
didn't come
I know it
fighting. I got
definitely
away
probably
fighting.
helps, but it's definitely hard to hear for sure.
No, my old acting coach was Vincent Chase. And did you ever see a show called Entourage? I think it was like popular about 10, 12 years ago.
HBO.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Entourage and Mark Wahlberg, and he named the lead character after his acting coach, Vincent Chase. So shout out to Vince because he taught me everything I know. And but I never was told that was terrible.
Oh,
He taught me how to.
Price Teller Adler.
Oh no, I wouldn't have survived.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, no, we had some bad ones, tough ones. Shouldn't say bad. They're
Yeah.
all mature. They had a stick.
Oh, yeah, no, not my style. Not
For
my
the
style.
next question I had, I'm trying to kind of go in order of like the timeline of days instead of jumping forward. But for Thaao, do you recall how it came to be about that you were going to be playing the dual roles of Andre and Tony? And did you ever kind of expect that when you got that opportunity, Andre would kind of become his own character and stay around for all the time that he did?
Yes, he lasted a long time.
Yeah.
I liked playing Andre because you don't always get away with things when you
Yeah.
play the good Tony.
Mhm.
But I made him. I ridiculed him. I didn't make him. Even when I was hiding and running and working in some community theater, and I come on off stage as Richard III, and I had my wig halfway across my face. Um, because I was so upset I didn't know my lines, but things about that character. But I think the toughest thing was the fencing scene that I had to fence
Yeah.
myself, and also fencing with Drake Hoaxton. Um, yeah, poor Drake. But um, I I realize it would last. He would last that long. Well, how do you differentiate two characters?
Yeah.
And how did she know the difference about when she went with Tony to bed or with Andre? And we must we must be similar.
Must imagine.
Similar, same rhythm. Anyway, so it was interesting.
It was all in the kiss.
It was all in the kiss, and
Yeah.
also how did I change my look? Because it wasn't something you did, where you had the time to do a lot of things. Like when I did Andre the Clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, and so I really enjoyed him. I'm sorry that they let him go. I mean, he can always come back because
Oh, for sure.
DiMeras don't die. Well, this DiMera doesn't, and so. But I really enjoyed him, and so Tony became the model of a good man in the family of DiMera, and in contrast, you had the rotten cousin called Andre, who came and disturbed happy people.
But it's the same kind of thing, like with the question you had about the two Annas.
Yeah.
Being naughty is a lot of fun.
I could tell.
And
Yeah.
that is
perfectly.
That's what it is. It's so fun to not be yourself.
Yeah.
It's so fun to be a little bit naughty.
Yeah.
And get away with
things.
I'm always drawn to the more.
Put me in drag. That was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
I wasn't very pretty. And I was talking to two extras who was at the gym. I'll never forget this. And they saying, "Oh, so you play what character?" And so I was talking to them about it. And then about half an hour later, I came in with long black hair and makeup and everything. And the two guys that I was talking to didn't realize it was me. And they said, "I think that's a transsexual." And so I had to play him. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I threw a line out, which is, "You are one ugly broad." And that meant I had to grab the Lucas character, and I had to kick him and knock him down. I enjoyed that. And Alison Sweeney, I locked her in the sauna. I certainly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So there were certain things,
I miss those very wacky storylines that it used to have like that for sure.
Yeah. And pull it off.
100%. And then both of you, this is for both of you, you kind of officially returned as Tony and Anna. I'm going to circle back to the fact that you were playing a different character. In 2007, I believe, is when you guys both came back as Tony and Anna officially. And you had been gone since 1986. How was it, stepping back into those roles after so long? And for you, Leann, how did it come about that you were, going to return to the series? How was that? Because I know that you had been on screen as Andre as Tony, which is what I was going to get to after this.
I think mostly because it was like 21 years later.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, oh my gosh, the comparisons are going to be flying, around if, she's 21 years older or whatever. But I have to say, because some of the crew is still there and working
Yeah.
with Thaao was literally like, working with my husband again. We just fell back into it as fast as you can imagine. And I remember my very first day coming back on, and I think I worked with Deidre and Drake and Peter and Christian. And so it was all like the people I had left. And we
Yeah.
were all there again. It was like going to a dinner
But let's
party.
catch up with what she did while she was away. She did Dynasty. She did
Yeah.
all these other shows, which was great. I thought Leann had a great resume while she was away. I mean, I did Mission Impossible and had
Oh
the
yeah.
miniseries done. But at least we had a body of work. It
Yes.
Yeah.
wasn't like we were waiting for days to call us
Oh,
to
for
come
sure.
back. But when they did,
Yes.
we enjoyed it. It was like second nature. It was like putting on the same glove, and
Mhm.
and once we started dancing and laughing, and I mean, it all just came back because
Yes.
when you planted that seed of that character, it's grown in some different way through the
Mhm.
Yeah.
years, and so it was interesting to see where we had developed, and it was a good story because I think it was in the jungle or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something I
I
found
believe
here.
so. Yeah, because I watched it recently, I believe it was.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
held the gun on him thinking that he might still be Andre, correct? I
I think
think.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to replicate where we had once upon a time crash landed on the island.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
and that she carried my ashes. She thought were my ashes all those years.
all those years I was mourning him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I was as pure as the driven snow all
Oh,
those
she
years.
was, she was. I believe she was.
Like I said, if Anna can make a money, she's gonna find a
100%.
way.
And then following that question, which is what I had mentioned during that, Thaao, do you recall when you found out? Um, you came back in 93 and then 2007, we found out that for nearly 20 years, Tony was actually Andre. Do you know how long that had been in the process? And like, when did you find out personally? Did you ever have any inclinations of it?
No, you know, I can't remember all the different stages.
Yeah.
Uh, all you can deal with really remembering that these are different writers.
Yeah, for sure.
They've taken in different information and interpreted it the way they wanted. And the actors say, I wouldn't do that, which is like hogwash, because it's not about whether you'd say it or not, it's what the writer wants you to
For
do.
sure.
You know what I mean? So, and if there is something that is really difficult and you say, no, that can't be believable, well, then you go to the producers and say, I think we need to change this, and because they can't get everything right.
Oh,
And so,
it's working so fast.
and it's true, we're working so fast. But I think there was a lot of transitions with Tony. I remember the last days with Joe Moscolo, who had Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
and that was a tough transition.
Mm.
And I remember when I went on set and I had to talk to him because my brother-in-law had died of Alzheimer's. I got to understand what that was like.
Yeah.
That only progressed backwards and not going forward. So I took Joe into the memory of things that we did in the past. And I said to him, didn't we do these scenes so well? Remember when
You
we, so I
did.
reminded him, and he caught up, and because he was in a very bad mood, and he got all excited and going, yes, yes, yes. The booth didn't realize. They came to me later. They said, how did you do that? And that's where knowledge,
Yeah.
where you have had a chance to explore something that's
Experience, yes.
part of your life. And so when I went to Joe and I tapped him on his hand and held it and said to him, wasn't that great? I said, why don't we do that now? And he was right there.
Oops.
Yeah, but he was such a strong entity on the show.
Oh, what a presence.
For
What a
sure. He
presence.
is so missed.
I remember when he came back to the show, And I wasn't working on the show. There was like this 20-year gap. But in the middle of that, he had come back to the show and they were advertising it on the network, you know. And I think the line was, Stefano is back.
Yeah.
And I remember my niece, who watched the show diligently, even though Aunt Leann wasn't on it anymore. She stood up in her chair, and when it said, Stefano is back, she stood up and pointed at the camera and said, so am I, because she was so excited he was coming back. And, you know, he had such a presence, and they still
He
use
did.
him. We've still
Very
had his
Portrait.
We've had his funeral again, and we've done
Yeah, the storyline we had recently.
Yeah, just again burying him again. I mean, he's what a presence. What a presence.
I won't lie and say that until this recent storyline, I still believed in my heart that I knew he would never appear again, nor should he, because obviously that's Joe's role. But I
Yeah.
did believe that Stefano was still out there somewhere, just
Yeah.
causing drama, causing trouble, just not in Salem.
Yep.
But I do think the laying him to rest was a beautifully done story.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sad too. I mean, some of the actors that were part of the family didn't know him.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of interesting to watch. Um, but in many ways, I was still the adult son. Um, so we've had, you know, a couple of EJs, and things have changed with other actors too who are DiMeras. But I don't know. They've got a new DiMera, I think, now. I can't keep up with some of the changes that are going on, but it's kind of nice that a story of a family like this, because Pat Fulton Smith, she created it.
Yeah.
And you know, when we finished GA, she said, "I want you to come over to Days of Our Lives. I want to create this story called of the DiMera family." And so she had a great vision about what the show needed, which is to bring a family that would be a real contrast to the kind of Anglo, which I thought was great, because we did have differentiation, and that's how you catch up with those things. And that's why you have good stories, because you can have one rival against another. And so she was very good at doing that.
Yes, the DiMera family has become my favorite soap family in general. You guys have done great.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
But I did, yeah. I talked with Stacy about that actually. I'm sorry, I dropped my phone. But I talked with Stacy about that actually, how it was coming in and doing the memorial scene, not having worked with Joe. Because I think you were the only one, you and Billy Flynn both worked with him, I believe.
Right.
And the rest were, you know, they appeared after his passing, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy Flynn, I enjoyed playing with him because he was not predictable, and he was also volatile. He had a temperament, which I enjoyed playing.
Really?
Not
Who is that like?
me.
Oh, he's
See,
so different.
I'm calm and
He's
collected.
calm and collected these days. He had a
Yeah.
little temperament. It's a good
Yes,
way
in
of
the early
putting it.
days, and I did have a temperament. I've matured since then, but yeah. But you know, there's pressure on you.
Mhm.
You know, you learn how to deal with pressures, but when you've got that many scripts in one day, like 3 scripts sometimes, and you've got one week I had 11 shows. So you can imagine how the pressure is
Oh,
on.
for sure.
Remember all that dialogue.
I don't get how you guys do it. It's amazing.
Well, it's inhuman.
It
You
is.
know,
It's very great.
you know, and you still have to. And what was interesting is one of those 11 shows I got nominated for. Um, And I thought, isn't that interesting? I had to learn all those lines. And the producer said to me, how did you do it? And I went, oh, so you thought it was a surprise then, you know, that you were able to handle that many shows in a week. So I went to Puerto Vallarta, and because my brother was here with his wife, I told them to enjoy themselves. And I went to Mexico to study 11 scripts, because I couldn't get anybody to. So, you know, we're confronted with a lot. But, you know, it's like when you end up making it, and coming through, I cannot tell you that the only when we're tested,
Yeah.
we find out what we're about.
Mhm.
And when those things work for us as actors, it's really a wondrous thing because it's taken you up into it. You know, we stretch ourselves, we keep stretching ourselves, and the foundation on which we stand on becomes stronger and stronger. And out of it comes more meaning and understanding of what they give you. And so you make the character more interesting. If you're if you're interested enough to develop.
Yeah.
Some actors, they can only get so far because they can only handle so much of the script, and that's on the surface. But once you get under the surface and you start finding other things, that's when it gets exciting.
And that's why you can pick it up every 4 years and go back into it because you have all that foundation of that history.
Yeah.
And you also, when you have 11 scripts or whatever, you rely on your other actor. You have to rely on your other actor to help get, bounce that tennis ball back at you, which gives you what it is. Acting is really response.
Yeah.
It's how I respond to what he says to me or what he does to me or what anybody else does to me or who's walking through the door. What is my response? I mean, acting is response. And
Yeah.
when he's talking about when you make it through and you get that done, it's a wonderful feeling. It's like the sweet spot of a tennis, of hitting a ball and it goes the right way and lands right inside the line, or a golf swing and it's does 200 yards down the middle of the fair. I mean, it's just a sweet spot. And we are all looking for that all the time.
And we enjoy dancing. We
Just know for
huh?
certain that when you guys come back, we never, as an audience, you mentioned how you want to find that sweet spot and everything. We're never questioning you guys at all because you do flawlessly every time you
Oh,
step back into the
thank you.
roles. We love Anna and Tony so much.
Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course. And so
Well,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've known each other all these years, and I've
Yeah.
said the story enough times. She didn't like me in the beginning. I got over it fast. So did she. She thought it because of my temperament. She thought, oh no.
Why?
And they put it with John
Delancey.
Delancey. That didn't work. There's no chemistry there. And here I was, and she came into my arms, and I had to give her a dip, and all that, and the dance, and the fun, and it's just so funny. Your chemistry is not something. It either is there or it's not.
Yeah,
It doesn't develop really. It's a magical moment that people can have together.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
then at the same time, there are obstacles that are going to be interesting down the road between them. So we had a good dance actually as characters, and then we like dressing up. That was the other thing with us.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse me, Richard Blue was so fantastic. The way he dressed her, the way he dressed me, and you'd come up on set, and when you're dressed the way we used to dress, and it was expensive. When you walk onto the set and the kind of shoes you wear, because it gives you your walk, and when we walk onto the set, things change within you because that's the last thing that happens is the clothes. She puts on her makeup. I put on a little bit of makeup. She has to do her hair that takes a while. God, I used to get upset waiting for them,
I remember one of the specific looks, let me see, that I always loved for Anna, seeing in pictures. See if it's here.
Yeah. He used to get very frustrated that it would take me so long. And of course, then I turn on him and ask him, how long does it take to do your hair?
I just shake
How
it.
long does it take to shave your legs and get ready for nylons and, and put this skirt on and all of
Yeah.
it. It takes a while to put a woman together.
I can't find all of the specifics, but it was like all of these.
Oh,
Let's see.
oh yeah,
You
look.
get the
And we were,
You
Yes,
had the sort of 80s hair,
yes,
black,
yeah.
not focusing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
not much.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Not much
There we are.
change.
Yeah. I always loved all those fabulous, big 80s hairstyles. They always
Yeah,
make guys so perfect. And then the
yeah.
gowns.
We had a terrific, terrific team of people. And because in the old days, we were there at 6 in the morning every morning,
Yeah.
and we had time for coffee and to 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 wake up and work and wake up in our characters and to
Yeah.
develop our scenes and work with all of that. And then we'd go into the wardrobe and the makeup and the hair, and they were so supportive and wonderful. And like I said, they were the glory days. And
Yeah.
everybody's great now, not to take anything away, because
Oh, for sure. I get
what
what you
they do now that fast is a miracle.
Mm.
And we've
I get what
survived
you mean.
through the COVID years where I had to do all my own hair and makeup. I got 10 minutes in the hair chair and 10 minutes in the makeup chair. That's all you got because
Yeah.
I couldn't be near anybody. So we survived all of those.
Yeah.
And we, you know, and
Well,
we're still here.
I mean, we went through some crises, especially even the AIDS crisis, where people didn't quite trust each other. What is your habits off screen?
Yes.
And so it was
Mhm.
a really a real test to your what your inner strength was about. And I used to take a lot of journeys. Every time I had a break, I'd go to Europe and come back. I used to go and get my clothes in Italy. In those days of my contract, I was able to go there and get my clothes and bring them back. But all those experiences helped. Every actor has a different way of building a foundation. How do you, what works for you? For me, it was traveling, coming back with an idea of another culture, and which added to the dimensions of an international character. So we were kind of international characters. We weren't just your suburbia. We came from somewhere, and we expanded on that. And I think there are many ways in which, when people say, "How did you survive all those years?" Well, you always made certain that you were the one who initiated the changes, so
Yeah.
that you were ahead of the writers. So when you came back, you took the page and they think, "Oh my God, he's so alive, or she's so alive," and that's because there was work done off screen that we brought onto the set. And I think that was the formula for survival in a serial, because how interesting are you that you
Yeah.
continue to bring new ways of thinking,
Mhm.
new ways of interpreting
Mhm.
the language, and still being kept into a modern world and
Very much.
modern
Yeah.
characters. So,
Very
there's
much.
many ways, but so, and on top of it, you come out and you realize that we had an extraordinary life, not just because of the acting, and we survived all these years on days, but all the other things that came because of that.
Yes.
I mean, if it
Yeah.
wasn't for Ken Corday,
Yeah.
I couldn't have done all those journeys that I did, and out of it came a number of books and other works. And I remember one director said to me, I was doing a mini series with Omar Sharif, and he said to me, "Where did you get your training from?" And I said, "Why would you ask me that?" And he said, "Because you know how to have the camera follow you." Well, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing.
Just
We
comes
learned
naturally.
because
Yeah.
directors don't really direct you. They may say, "Okay, move over here, move over there," but
Yeah.
you have to know, how do you direct yourself in a
Yeah,
circumstance,
for sure.
especially if you're going to do one take.
Yeah, my very first time on camera, my very first show I ever filmed, I looked right into the camera and said my line. And the director said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, you didn't look into the camera." He said, "No, you look at the other actor." And I went, "Oh, okay." I'd never done any of it before. Hawaii Five-0. That was
Yeah.
my very first little job.
My first job was a pilot with James Stewart, And I went to MGM Studios and I thought, oh my God. And you think of all the actors that have walked through that place and the great history of that
Yes, so
studio.
exciting.
It was so exciting. And I had never done film before. And I thought, oh, so there was another actor who said to me, you knew? And I said, yeah. He says, good. See that mark over there? That's where you walk and you stop there and you tell us the truth. And I went, oh, okay. And that's how I learned because an actor took,
Yeah.
The time to tell you.
So,
Yeah.
you learn, you have to, it's not an easy market, but automatically it becomes, your entrances and your exits. It's very important. How do you enter a scene? Do you,
Yeah.
how you and how you complete it because it's an art.
Yes, everything is an arc from start to
Yeah.
beginning. And where are you in the middle and where do you land?
Yeah.
Somebody who wants to join this business, I'm taking all of this in for sure.
But you want to be an actor, do you?
Yes, I would
Oh,
love
good.
to.
Well,
Oh,
you have
good.
a very sweet face for it.
Oh, thank you.
I have a feeling you're funny.
I'd like to think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm definitely
You're
taking all of
fun.
this info in.
Yeah.
And then for you, Leann, another question, because I think we are running up on our time limit. I always
Yeah.
tell the actors, I'm like, I could sit here and talk to you guys all day, but I know we always set, a certain
Yes,
time.
I don't want us to lose um, the battery. So go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Because yeah, I agree. I don't want it. I hate when it always cuts off on us. For Leann, you also had, the role in he mentioned Dynasty. That is a primetime soap. That's the word, right? Primetime soap, I believe.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you did the daytime soaps. How different is that, being in a primetime versus daytime soap? Which do you prefer more as well?
I like them equally at this
Yeah.
point. At the time, I was so used to being so prepared for days when you do days, when you do an hour of work, it takes all day to do it, but 1 hour in one day, and to go to a primetime soap where they
Yeah.
film 1 hour in 6.5 to 8 days.
Yeah.
So they do take after take after take, and we're used to doing it in one. You're on the minute they say action, you're doing it the way it's going to play. And I had to learn to pace myself and save it so that I didn't give everything just right out the gate, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then once you get into that, you get kind of comfortable with that, and then you try to go back to daytime, and you go, okay, wake up again. You got to get those juices flowing again so that you can keep up the speed with which they do it. I mean, it is extraordinary. And
It
then
is. It's very
the wonderful thing is that your brain works.
yeah.
And because you know your character, like we always say, the foundation of once you know that, once you have that, and you've done all the work, which is the study of how you want this to be perceived and played, and once you've done that, you can really just enjoy it. And also, I remember Vincent Chase, my old acting coach, he always said, if you're not having fun, the audience isn't having fun.
Yeah.
So
Very good advice.
if you're playing a bad guy and you're having fun, they're going to enjoy watching that. If
For
you're
sure.
playing a girl that's in love with a guy and having fun with that, then the women are going to enjoy that, being in
Yeah.
love with that guy. So it's all very much, you better enjoy what it is you're doing, because I don't want to watch somebody that's just
For sure.
bad and terrible. I mean, those have to be moments in a piece. You know what I mean? You can't just be all sad all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
and I was never a great crier anyway.
But the one thing that I remember, she learned her lines really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was just beginning and she was already off the page. Used to annoy the hell out of
I
me.
know his line, my line, his cross, that
Yeah.
John's line, Arlene's
Yeah.
line.
Oh, I
Yeah.
would definitely be more like you, Taya. I'm not good with learning stuff quickly that way.
But I was always driven by what I was saying. So for what it's worth, But they do love to give him long speeches.
Yeah,
We love to
for
test
sure.
his
And
Yeah.
we love to hear them.
abilities.
I remember I had 6 pages, and every page had half of it was a speech. And I went to the head writer and I said, "Do you mind? You don't give me so many lines. It's just not." She got so annoyed that I said that she cut me out of the story. So you have to be careful about
Yeah.
what you say, because they're not always sensitive to you. And, they think you're doing it well, so they start giving it to you. But, there's an art form in doing monologues. And they thought, well, that's what I used to do in class, because I used to go to classes when I used to even work on days. And I did monologues, and they used to give me long phone calls. And then I would have another long monologue, sometimes 3 pages. Try learning this, but
Yeah,
you know,
I can
But they work hard
imagine.
writing it too, so you can't take that away from them because they need to,
Yeah.
I'm not a writer. I can't imagine what it takes to write under the duress of what it is they have to get done in the timeline they've got.
well,
And
look
to,
at Cherry.
yeah, I
She's
mean,
just
it's amazing. So there's just
anyway,
people that are so good at it. Hmm.
well, here we are. Did you want to ask for a recipe or something? Yes.
But speaking of, Rebecca Staub actually mentioned how you cook for her and how delicious your meals are.
Oh, yes.
Because I
Did
told her,
know
I was
that.
like, I found you because she popped up as a suggested friend after I became friends with you. And I was like, I found you through Thao's page. And she was like, oh, he's not only, an acquaintance, he's a friend and neighbor. He cooks very delicious meals.
Yes, he does. I've been uh, lucky enough to be sitting at this table for many a meal, and
Yeah. I have found a lot of my friends.
mhm.
I can't cook a lot of them.
I can cook.
She
It's
can
just,
cook. She just
but I
doesn't
won't
like
do
it.
it because he's so picky. I mean, well, did you?
You
Would
see
you?
the excuse they use.
Yes, as well.
They start to say, "Oh, I can't." I get that, or I get, "Oh, I can't."
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't cook like you, and I'm thinking, "Oh, okay." I've been to a couple of places over the years, not very good.
That's my point. So
Uh,
when you say stuff like that, does anybody want to cook for you? No.
well, listen, I'm thinking of another cookbook.
You should
I
make
put
one
that
for
many
sure.
recipes, But anyway, no, but I enjoy it also. There's something wonderful about presenting people at a dining table. It's like a watering hole, and out of
Mhm.
that comes some wonderful conversation.
Yes.
Oh, I
And
can imagine being at a table with
Gathering today.
you, Leanne, William, Rebecca. It would have to be incredible.
yeah, well, Doris Roberts used to come here every week for dinner. She used to sit at the head of the table, bring you a bottle of Dom Perignon, and then you thought, "Oh God, she's generous," and then you realize it wasn't to you; the bottle was for her, and so
She drank it
she
herself.
would drink it herself. But that was such lovely people. They're all gone. A lot of them have gone, and that's the other thing about it all. We have too many. I've reached a stage now where I have more behind me than in front of me, and so
Yeah,
You've lost a few.
very much miss for sure.
well. Anyway,
Have we lost our connection?
No, I can still see you guys. Can you hear me?
yeah, it's just that I just got a phone call and came
Oh,
through. Anyway, so are we going to wrap up now? I hate to say because
Yes.
my battery's going to run
No,
out.
you're good. You're good. I do have to ask one final question. My friend actually helps me out with my podcast, and
mhm.
she is a huge Gilmore Girls fan. So she doesn't watch soap, so I had to tell her, I was like, Leann Huntley, she was in Gilmore Girls, and she was like, oh, she was Shira. I remember her.
Shira. Hmm.
Yes. So shout
Shira
out to
Hunting.
that.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I was gonna ask the one final question. Do you guys have anything you can tease about your upcoming roles before we end?
Um, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember because we filmed
Yeah, that's what Stacy and them were telling me. They were
some
like,
things
where were
back
we
in
at?
January, and they are 10 months ahead on
Yeah.
from when we filmed to when it gets to air. So I don't even remember some of it.
My God, it's
Yeah.
um, I went on recently. I can't even remember because after a while having
Yeah.
done these, I can't even remember what I
So
did.
I always have to pull out a script and look at what
Well,
my
don't
line
worry.
is like.
Stacy and Peter were equally the same. They were like, where are we at in the story right now? I can't even
I
remember.
don't even know at this point.
Well, I
But
guess
tell your
that can be a
friend, thank you.
surprise.
I understand if it's very fun to watch that the Gilmore Girls has a resurgence of
Yeah.
interest with everybody. And I've enjoyed being hated on that show.
Yeah, she was like, she wasn't the nicest in that show, but she seems lovely in person. I was like, yes, and she's completely different. Because I remember catching an episode or so of Gilmore, and I remember your character being not the nicest, but
Just protecting her property, which is her son.
for sure, for
That's all
sure.
there is. Logan is my boy.
Well, I do believe, yes, it is coming up the time where it's going to cut us off regardless. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us. I always thank God, for blessing me with the opportunity. And I can't wait to see where you guys go on the show.
Well, thank you
Well,
very
thank you,
much.
Tyson. Nice to talk to you.
And nice
Thanks
of
for
you to
making
have
the
an
time.
interest
You
in
guys
us.
as well. And thank you for helping to set it up, Thaao.
Okay.
I hope you guys have an
Very good.
happy
You take
Easter
care.
and
Good
an
luck in your
amazing
acting.
week.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Good luck in your acting.
Thank you so much. Hopefully we can work together one day.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
happy Easter, guys, and I hope you have
Happy
an
Easter.
amazing
God
week.
bless.
God bless.
God bless you guys as well so much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.